Hey there guys, gals, and non-binary pals, Jim Potter here. Welcome to my channel where I talk about books and bookish things. I upload on Tuesdays and Thursdays at noon Central Time. I am an independent author, an avid reader, and a cat mom of 4. And today, since this is the last video of Pride Month, I wanted to talk about a book that I read as part of the Hardest Reading Challenge You'll Ever Do Part 2, and that is Cattywampus by Ash Van Otterloo. Let's get into it. Okay, so jumping in with the book blurb. The magical story of a hex that goes haywire and the power of friendship to set things right. In the town of Howler's Hollow, conjuring magic is strictly off limits. Only nothing makes Delphi McGinn's skin crawl more than rolls. So when she finally finds her family's secret book of hexes, she's itching to use it to banish her mama's money troubles. She has to keep it quieter than a church mouse. Not exactly Delphi's specialty. Trouble is, Katie Bird Hearn is hankering to get her hands on the spell book too. The daughter of a rival witching family, Katie has reasons of her own wanting to learn forbidden magic, and she's not going to let an age-old feud or Delphi's contrary ways stop. But their quarrel accidentally unleashes a hex so heinous it resurrects a graveyard full of angry Hearn and McGill ancestors, bent on total destruction. If Delphi and Katie want to reverse the spell in time to save everyone in the Hollow from rampaging zombies, they'll need to mend fences and work together. So, like I said, I read this one as part of the Hardest Reading Challenge You'll Ever Do Part 2, Bingo Square, Even Queer Alphabet, and this was for the intersex square. In this book, Katie Hearn is intersex. She's been raised as a girl her whole life, and she goes to the doctor after having problems, and they realize that she has internal male organs. And they're like, we can have surgery to resolve this and blah, blah, blah. And her family's like, no, mostly because of money troubles. Her family decides not to. But the problem is, in witching families in Appalachia where this takes place, magic is passed down the matriarchal line. Well, she's not fully female, is she? And so it's her magic as a result. Her magic is cattywampus. Her magic is a little bit wild and a little bit different because she's intersex. And it's an actual plot point, and it feels true to the story, and it's a secret that she and her family keep because how do you have this conversation with somebody else? And she wants to find a spell to restore her magic. When Delphi finds the spell book, she immediately casts a spell just to see if she can. She ends up enchanting the woodshed, and it goes lumbering off like Baba Yaga's cottage. Like, it just goes off on its own, and Katie Bird sees it and tries to help in her obnoxious ways. They're both children. They're both kind of obnoxious. Delphi is surly and kind of goth, and Katie Bird is this bird of paradise, just bubbly and happy-go-lucky all the time. And Delphi is secretly wants to be happy and wants to be embraced in joyous things. And Katie Bird is secretly very serious person. Like, it's interesting character building. And when she's looking at the house, she sees it regressing from a woodshed back into a tree, into a living being, essentially. And she says, no, you can't put it back, you can't burn it up, you can't do any of these things because it's a tree. And Delphi's like, it's not a tree, it's a woodshed. She's like, no, but it used to be a tree. And she's like, yeah, that's where wood comes from. And it's a big misunderstanding, and Katie Bird ends up stealing the magic book, and when Delphi gets it back, she, in a fit of anger, casts the hex that resurrects the graveyard. That's the setup. It's really interesting, and it's got good representation, not just for intersex, but it's also got hearing impaired representation. Katie Bird's younger brother is hearing impaired, so there's a lot of signing and it's treated well. Like something I've seen in other books where you have characters signing to each other is it's not treated as language. In this book, it's treated as language, which I really appreciated because ASL, which is what they use in this book, is in fact the language. You have an interpreter, like, and it's a language. Like, it has its own grammatical differences and word differences and all the rest of this, like any other language. This book is clearly a YA novel. Like, it's later middle grade, early YA. Like, it's kind of in an in-between spot. For that, it is dual point of view between Delpha and Katie Bird. This book was utterly delightful. There were things that I would change just story structurally. Like, it's not a trophy copy book. Like, it's not going to be on the trophy shelf. But it is one that I may check out from the library again. I got this one through my local library. Really enjoyed it. I've since had to give it back before I could film this, but this is one that I might check out from the library again. It's one that I highly recommend other people to read. It's just it's not a trophy book. And a lot of YA books aren't necessarily trophy books. It's in part because I'm an adult, and in part just I'm finding myself having to be more selective of the trophy copies I decide to get. Like, if it's one thing if I buy the book to read the book and then I keep it. It's another thing if I check it out from the library and have already consumed the story for free and then go off and buy a trophy copy. This one, though it is very, very good, I highly recommend reading this one. It has a lot to say, and it says it in only 288 pages. In audiobook, this one's about 6 hours. Like, it says a lot in a short amount of time. And it says it well. And it has a lot to say. And it gets it across. And I'm so glad to have read this book. Like, it wasn't life-changing, but it did shift perspective for me on a couple of things. And I feel like if other people read this, I'm not going to say this book would make you a more compassionate person, it would make you a more understanding person, but I feel like this is a book that you would read on your journey to being more compassionate and understanding. So, Cattywampus, amazing book. It's short, but happy Pride, y'all, and I hope you have a great day. If you've read Cattywampus or any other books with good intersex representation, with good hearing impaired representation, I'd love to see those down in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!